We are everybody back at Perth show, showing sheep again. Got 6 pens of sheep in a bit of a rush because we're kind of one of the last ones to get here, so we've been in a rush to get the sheep all brushed and looking nice. I'm just going to find a portaloo and then hopefully the judging will be starting pretty shortly. In the show today, and I might do a little bit of voiceovers, but we've got 2 pens of gimmers, 1 pen of yows, so these are pens of 3, 2 pens of fat lambs and 2 pens of yow lambs, which are female lambs. First we have the pen of 3 ewes being judged, and they'll be judged in the pen and then they'll be judged walking around in the ring. As the judge just made a decision on the 3 pens, the pen of 3 yows, and we got 2nd place in that. Now on to a pen of 3 gimmers, and we actually have 2 pens of 3 in this. A lot of people ask about the orange colour on some of the sheep, so it's basically a natural colouring that we put on the sheep for showing. It's not dye or anything like that, it's not permanent, it'll wash out in maybe a week or so depending on how much rain you get, and we didn't do very well in this category. Now on to our pen of 3 ewe lambs, which means female lambs. So that is the ewe lambs just been through, and we got 2nd in that. Then finally we also had 2 pens of fat lambs. So fat lambs can be any gender, they have to be at a certain weight, and there is also best single overall fat lamb in this category. So we did quite well in the fat lamb category. We actually sort of wiped up a bit, so we got a 1st and a 3rd for our pens of 3, and then was the single lamb category, and we got a 1st in that as well, so we got 2 1sts and a 3rd in the fat lamb category. That is the judging finished, and we've had a fairly good show. I'll show you guys all what we got in a moment, but first I am quickly going to get some breakfast before the championship judging starts. So a quick rundown of how we did. These were the gimmers, they got 5th. These were the 2nd place ewe lambs, pen of 3. This was the 1st place pen of 3 fat lambs. This was the 3rd place pen of fat lambs, and it was also in this 3rd place pen of fat lambs that the single lamb won 1st place in the single lamb category. Then finally the 2nd place pen of ewes and the 5th place pen of gimmers. Judging is just finished in time. I think if I'm quick I'll be able to see a couple more of the judging classes, so I'm going to quickly go around and see what I can see. I think some bits are still judging the champions, so I'm going to see what we can see and watch a couple of the sheep judging classes. I'll do a little voiceover for this as well. So these are the Texel champions being judged, and pedigree sheep are judged as a single sheep. They're let to walk around the ring and then they're held. So here we're seeing the Hill Cheviates. So this is a breed that I actually really like. I think this is a very versatile breed. So I did stand and watch this for a while. Then here you have some Valley Blacknose sheep. So these are kind of newer sheep, very expensive, generally kept as pets, believe it or not. But they're fantastic wool making sheep, and they're obviously very cute.
Weighing through now onto the Valley Blacknose. Young Lamb section, class number 100.
Personally, the pygmy goats is one of my favourites. I always go over and see them. They're so full of attitude. They're just so fantastic little beings in such small bodies. I find these goats hilarious. Then back to something a little more serious as we catch the end of some of the cattle judging. These are Simmental cattle. They're quite heavily used here in the UK, especially for cross and other cows. And we see some wonderful examples here. Then I head round for a quick walk around the pens of some native breeds. So we've got some Angus cattle here. Again, some more Simmentals being paraded in the ring. And of course you can't go to a livestock show in Scotland and not go see some of the Highland cattle. I especially think this calf was so funny looking with its little horns. But yeah, there was a really fantastic show of cattle here. It was a warm day, so a lot of people were using towels and water to cool their Highland cattle down. Then here at the end, we're actually seeing the champion sheep having some photos taken, and I came to watch that as well just because it's a breed I really like. After watching a good bit of the judging, I think it's time to go a quick walk around the showground and see some of the other things that are going on before I get lunch. I appear to have found the dog show, so there's dogs in the ring over here. So I've just went and bought Stacey a pair of Harris tweed high tops as a surprise for coming back, because she couldn't make it today because it was too long a day with Cole. Imagine having a 9-month-old at this for 9 hours. But yeah, just got her a quick gift.
Photographs are being taken by Hugo, so go to his website, HKF Photography.
Just been and had some dinner, so it's actually pretty warm here today, so I'm gonna go fetch some water for the sheep and make sure that they're nice and hydrated.
Where is it?
retirement age. What you usually see in working collies, is average age would be 13. You've got exceptions, of course. So, if you look at play, there's a few standard commands. So, you've got anti-clockwise, away, Liz, lie down. Lie down is a stop command, so lie down will be lie down on your belly. Then you've got a come by is clockwise, come by, lie down, come by. Lie down. The next command is Liz on. The next one is walk on. Walk on is walk up to the sheep. I think she's a bit confused with all the speakers around. Then you've got another stop command, stand. The stand is if you want to keep her on her feet. And if it's nicer on the dogs, and at least you can keep moving a bit easier. Walk on. Lie down. You've got a few other commands then, like a look back commands. You see for dogs, you see behind them. You can also slow them down. That's one lie down. She's just needing more experience to start things for herself. So she knows everything. You can compare it with out of the books and in a small field like this. But she needs work now to understand what we're doing and start things for ourselves and solve problems on our own. So this is a newer type collie, as people would call her. You can see it's smooth coated, straight ears. She's very stylish in her movements. So